the music industry depends on the resilience of the stakeholder. If the stakeholders are tired, we cannot make something else without helping them. But if we cannot help them, how can we continue in a system who won't support us?
Yeah, welcome back to Just Africa on Sook News Television. Of course, you can follow us on all our social media platforms at Sook News TV and subscribe to the Just Africa show. Of course, some of your comments will be read during the live show. So in the second segment, from the streets of Lagos to the studios of Johannesburg, from Accra's rhythm to Nairobi's pulse, this continent has produced sounds that now dominate global charts. Afrobeats fills arenas, Amapiano shakes festivals, African artists headline world tours. The world is listening. But here is the uncomfortable question. If the talent is undeniable, why are the structures still fragile? Why do artists go viral yet struggle with royalties? Why do hits travel globally while contracts remain exploitative? Why does creativity grow faster than the systems meant to protect it? Today, we examine the difference between talent and transformation. Because great industries are not built on gifted individuals alone. They are built on institutions, strong copyright systems, transparent royalties, professional management, structured funding, export strategies, and policy support. Africa's music is global, but can its institution catch up? So our guest, Magali Palmira Wora, brings a real-world perspective to this discussion. As both a cultural entrepreneur deeply rooted in urban music and a former director general of arts and cultural industries in Gabon, she understands the industry from inside the ecosystem and from the policy table. Her experience spans cultural governance, mentoring, music business development, and international cultural networks. Hello and welcome to Just Africa, Wora.
Hi. Thank you so much for receiving me in your amazing platform.
Yeah, welcome to the show. How is Gabon this afternoon?
This afternoon, Gabon is rainy, and we had very bad information yesterday that they will cut social media in Gabon from yesterday. So we are wondering why you guys are cutting social media. But outside this, we are still working and finding solution for our business.
Okay, that's beautiful. The solution will definitely come. So let's have this conversation. Why has African music globalized faster than its institutions?
I think that it's because creativity depends on artists. Okay, I give you an example. The main reason is that artist is an individual person. So an artist can wake up with a song and can go to the studio, record it, and push it on social media or streaming platform. It depends. It depends on one day. It depends on him. But it's different for the organization because institution are organizations. So organization means more of two people to decide, to establish, to organize, to coordinate. Institution means also policy. That means also law. That means also country or continent ecosystem. It depends on multiple aspects. This is the reason the creativity is faster than institution because we can create really fast. We can create in one day, we can create in 2 days, but we cannot decide in one day. We cannot establish a law in one day. There's a process to write, to adopt, to apply a law in a country. So this is the reason the creativity is faster than the institution.
Okay, as with your experience or as an experienced person in this industry, what are some of those processes that we need to write to help our institutions to really stand strong?
I think the institution, the first thing I realized when I was in function as the director, general director, is that most of our government, they don't know who we are, what is our job, what is our reality. They don't know. They think that music or art is only your thing and that's all. This is your needs only. And there's no, we are raised person or people who are there to explain to president, to minister, to deputy, to assembly that music is this, art is this, and we need this, and we need that our law, our policy will be adapted to our reality. I think this is the main problem. And if you are an understanding of something, it's difficult for the person or the government or the institution to help or to make the business grow efficiently if they don't understand us, if they don't understand the field, if they don't understand our reality.
Okay, so what happens when an industry grows without a formal system?
It depends on the region because, we will think, okay, without formal system, we cannot work. For me, it depends. There may be genuine resilience from, stakeholder to sector stakeholder. And this resilience will push the industry to keep evolving. And the result of this resilience could drive government to structure the sector. It depends on regions, it depends on how the stakeholder will act. And you will have also in other countries or other regions that cultural actors, they will be exhausted. They will be exhausted from their constant effort, their constant solution by themselves. And most of the time, they decide to move to another continent where the art and actor are better valued. So this is the reality. We cannot, to be honest, that would be difficult to say that, yeah, there will be some process because, the music industry depends on the resilience of the stakeholder. If the stakeholder are tired, we cannot make something else without helping them. But if we cannot help them, how can we continue in a system we don't support us?
Okay, so how would you describe the Gabon music industry structure? Would you say that it is well structured for the business and for the artist at the same time?
No, we are a very bad example. But if I can say in the continent, there's a strong difference between the the English speaking country, how you
Okay.
work, how you organize, and the French speaking countries, how we work, how we organize. Most of the time, we used to say that you guys, you are better organized than us. Okay. And most of the time we used to take South Africa as an example. We used
Okay.
to take Kenya as an example. But in French Africa countries, a region, Francophone Africa region,
Yeah.
we are not well organized as you think. But we have some example, like the Senegal. The Senegal is the best of all of us. The Senegal is the
Oh.
best in their structuration. The Senegal is the best on artist protection. The Senegal is the best on copyright, on live performance, on
Okay.
artist status, And the second, if I can say, the second good country is Cote d'Ivoire. Cote d'Ivoire is
Okay.
also a very good country. We'll give an example on how we can structure the business on live performance, on artist status, and on right protection. But aside these two countries, I cannot tell you with strong argument that the other countries are also well
So,
structured.
what is holding the other countries, the other francophone countries? What's holding them back? Why can't they take the lead from Senegal or from Cote d'Ivoire and help build their own structure?
The reality I don't know if it's the same in English countries, but I give you an example. We still have Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal. And the Senegal is a strong country where you have Bala music. I think Bala music is the main music, okay, in Senegal, and they have their own audience. When they make live performance, they are sold out. They are very strong. But the issue of
Okay.
the Senegal is a country. with a self-consumption. They are not open in other countries. They are not open in the collaboration in music or in art
Okay.
with other countries such as Cote d'Ivoire. So even if Cote d'Ivoire and Senegal are neighbor, they can work together. They can become two strong countries who can push or can have the lead, have the lead on this music industry, because they are neighbor, but they with their own reality. It's difficult for them to to become a bloc that leads the culture in the francophone countries. I have the same example. I spoke about the Senegal, but I can speak about the Côte d'Ivoire. You have the Coupé de Calais, you have the Rapid Voix, and they are strong. They make live performance, blah blah blah. And the neighbor is Burkina Faso. And
Okay.
Burkina Faso is also a very interesting country with live performance. When you go in Burkina Faso and this country, there's a massive audience, public, blah, blah, blah. But Burkina Faso is a country in politics transition, so culture is not important for them.
Yeah.
Even if Cote d'Ivoire will have or take the lead on this subject, this is not the this is not the main or the most important subject for Burkina Faso, who has a political transition. So we are in the same region, but the culture, the music, etc., are not important for all of them in the same level.
Yeah. Okay, is it not possible for the Francophone countries to collaborate with the English speaking countries to have a well structured music industry? Now, we're not talking about being French or being English, we're talking about being an African. Can't we work together and say, just as you said, Gabon is not having a very good structure right now compared to the English speaking part of Africa. What can we do to ensure that, yes, a very good structure for the music industry now moves to Gabon?
Yes, this is what we are trying to do, making that Nigerian people, actor, musician, manager, they work together. To be honest, there are also the language barrier.
Okay.
So it's not easy. So, for example, I'm a French speaking native, and because I love English, this is the reason I speak in English with you now. But that doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that francophone guys or people they want to speak English, or they can speak English easily. But there's people like me who work as a bridge between the francophone and the anglophone. This is how the way we work. When I was at MTV Base, I was the francophone representative,
Okay.
and I was the one who collect the francophone content, the francophone music, the francophone video, and I push it on MTV Base. We create a blog for francophone artists. We used to nominate francophone artists to create the system where we can work together. And this is a work we need to continue to make. Not okay. We are tired to make this effort, but we need to continue to make this kind of effort, because yes, if we put our effort together, we can have a solution, a worldwide or a continental solution. You guys, we think that Nigerian or South African or Kenyan, you are more skills than us. So we can use, or we can, see how you work
Yeah.
in certain sector, in certain field, and adapt it to our reality. And you guys, you can see our reality in some step or some field and use it for your field. So this is a work we are making now, step by step. It's not easy, but we are making it step by step.
That's beautiful because I look forward to it. Because if I may ask, what does a great institution now, in your own definition, what does a great institution look like in the music industry context? What does it look like for you?
For me, it looked like an institution who can take care of the status of the artist. There's a lot of our country in the continent. They don't have a law for artist status, and if we are supposed to be artists and we don't have any status, we don't have any protection, social protection, we don't have any, has identity in the state. It's for me, it's a main issue, and for me, a great institution must work on this. For me, a work institution must work on the mobility. We have a really, really strong issue on mobility within the country, within the country, some countries, within some region, and within the continent. I give you an example.
Okay.
I'm in Central Africa. I'm in Gabon, and Chad is in Central Africa. We are supposed to, if I leave Gabon and I go straight to Chad, I must make 1 hour and 30 minutes maybe. But there's no direct trajectory between Gabon and Chad, even if we are in the same region. To go to Chad for a festival or for an event or training, I need to go to Togo, and from Togo, I can go to Chad. So I take 1 day to go to my neighbor, to my neighbor. So there's an issue of mobility because of this rule between countries, but there's also a mobility issue because of visa. So I'm a
Yeah,
Gabonese, and
yeah.
I cannot come to your country, Nigeria, without a visa. So for me, a strong institution must work on this: status law, copyright law, mobility to facilitate mobility and visa. And for me, a strong institution must work also to provide funds to push the creativity.
Wow, that is really a whole lot. So, I believe that the government can hear you even as you speak it right now. So, let's move to the business side of music. How important is business literacy for artists? Now, not just for Gabon artists, I'm talking about Africa generally. Because most times we just do the performances. African artists do a whole lot of performances. I love the fact that you mentioned Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire, how big they are on live performances. But do they really understand? Do they really understand the business side of the music industry? So, how important is the business literacy for them?
This is also our main issue in the continent, in general, not only in francophone or only in anglophone side. We have artists who don't know their job. This is very it's pain, if I can say it like that. They don't know their job. For an artist, I think that his job is, I go to the studio, I sing a song, and it's live, and that's all. So I used to say, I have an academy, and I have a kind of academy where I train on music business, on BNI, on journalism, and we have these three options in the academy. But I handle the music business training, and I used to say to my people that an artist has minimum three sources of income, and that come from their work. Their work means composition, performance. This is the first step, and most of the time, artists stay at this first step. And I used to say that the other source of income is from the assets, from the copyright, publishing, synchronization, the use or the exploitation of the music, and also from the notoriety. That means merchandising, branding, blah blah blah. But if you don't have the skills to handle all this reality, how can you decide wisely? And this is the reason we have a lot of artists. They say, "Oh, I send you the major, but they use me, their expectation, blah blah blah." And most of the time, I used to tell them that no, they didn't use you. You
Yeah.
go without knowing the reality where you are going,
Yeah.
well, you only thought about the famous. I will be strong. I will have huge videos, blah blah blah, and I will have a lot of money. But aside this famous and money side, there's a reality. It's a business first, and if you understand and you realize it's a business, each business you need to know how this business rules. If you don't know the rules of this business, even if you are the best artist in the world, you want to no longer you want to stay in this area. So it's not about in this way. It's the responsibility is not the government. The responsibility is not the institution. No, 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 no. It's your responsibility as an artist who want to grow, to improve in this field, to go to look for those skills. If you want to be a manager or a music manager or a music producer or an executive producer, you need to know how this business rules, how this business handle. And most of time, we in this music, not me, but we in general, we think that, oh, it's only a song, it's only a music I put on the table and that's all.
Yeah. Okay, so now that we're talking about understanding the business, we've talked about training, we've talked about looking not just focusing on the fame. Should music entrepreneurship be taught at university level across the continent?
Yes, 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 yes. This is my file. Okay, from maybe now it's from a decade. My fight is to teach, to train, because I made 10 years as a music manager. I managed artists in hip hop, in gospel, in pop, and I traveled around the continent. I made a lot of festivals, and the observation is that we have massive and incredible talents, but talents die because they don't know the business. And talent die because they think that it's only a hobby, something great and nice. And they don't understand that it's a business. And for me, the first barrier or the first, the first battle is, guys, this is not a hobby. This is not a passion. No, it's a work. And because it's a work, you need to learn your work. And sometimes I give an example when I speak about it. I say, do you go to, a doctor that you think, that this doctor don't have skills. The doctor don't know how to handle your sickness. Do you know in this kind of doctor or not? Most of people say, no, I cannot go to a doctor who don't have understanding of my sickness, blah, blah, blah. And I say, okay, why guys, you think that you don't need to have also skills to handle your job? Okay. And I give another example. I say, when you see a guy who plays football very with talent, and he's beginning his career as a footballer. Okay, most of time we don't send this footballer on the ground in the stadium. Most of time we send this young talent to the school. Why? For artists, we didn't send them to school too. So this is the matter continentally. It's not in Nigeria, it's not in Gabon, it's not in Senegal. It's everywhere. But we have some country who understood this, and this country understood this, and they create platforms. They create university. So I give an example again on Senegal, who had this in his program of his university. We have Morocco, who has also a university. I think, yeah, they added in the university program. And we also have South Africa. In South Africa, they have also this in the university program. So that means that it's very important to learn not only in one day on masterclass, but to learn it in an academic way, to to make the business industry grow perfectly or efficiently, if I can say like that.
Okay, thank you very much, Wora, because you've been insightful in this conversation. Now, I want you to tell us how being a public office holder, how it helps you, how it has helped your understanding in the music industry, and how you are passing on this knowledge to younger generations.
Okay, I will respond by the last. Since 2020, since the COVID period, we create an academy, and the academy name is Emma Online Music Academy. And each year we try to train a maximum of artists, manager, producer,
Okay.
on this model music business, journalism, and they and I. So this is the way I found to teach and to build the next generation. I think I also wrote a book.
Okay.
I also wrote a book. Unfortunately, the book is in French. The book is not in English, and the book talk about how we became a music manager, in sub-Saharan Africa. And yeah, so for me, it's very important, to build the next generation. And when I became general director, it was a huge challenge because I worked many years in the private sector. I work in Believe. I work in the Orchard for digital distribution. I work for Coke Studio, The Voice, MTV Base. So I was a private sector person. So and now I came in the public administration, and the main difference is in the private sector. We work very fastly, and we are looking for strong solution on the ground, and to be practice, to be pragmatic. And in administration, it's not the same. It's not the same because uh, there's a canvas, a public canvas, that you must find the way to work through this canvas. And this canvas, most of the time, this canvas is not in phase, if I can say it like that, in phase with the reality in the ground. It's a Canva, most of the time you will find a Canva created by someone in 10 years ago. And when you say, you know what, this Canva is very old, can we upgrade it? You say, no, this is the reality, blah, 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 blah. And this is the reason I say in the beginning of this interview that I realized in this position that we need to educate the government. We need to be patient. We need to have a lot of pedagogy, to accompany them, because they have an idea of what is culture, and this, to be honest, this idea is wrong, but it's not their fault. So most of the time we didn't have them to understand our sector. So at the end of this function, I realized that okay, you have an experience in the sector, the public sector, the sector, the private sector, and you cannot have these skills or this expertise only for you. So I continue to help the government, my government, but I help also when some institution, the French institution in Chad or in Guinea, they call for me for training or to work together on copyright law or on artist status. So I come and I work with them, to update and to improve the environment, the ecosystem.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you very much, Wora. But back to music. Now we have to move away from you a little. Uh, now, when you listen to African music, like the Nigerian music, Afrobeat, for instance, whether the song is in a French-speaking country or an English-speaking country, our Amapianos, our Afrobeats, they are making waves, irrespective of the dialect, irrespective of the language. Can you say that is happening with Gabon, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, and Burkina Faso, you said? Can you say the same with them, that even if there is a language barrier, how about the French-speaking countries? Are music also doing well there?
In Francophone country, except the Senegal case, which is a very different case, we listen Nigerian, Ghanaian, South African music, Kenyan. We listen music coming from Anglophone countries. The thing, I'm not. I think it's unfair. I think it's unfair because we listen the music of the other region. But I think it's unfair because in this other region, you guys, you don't listen our music, except,
Yes. So
for example, Ipupa and Tufan, one or two artists. And when I discuss with you guys, not you, but with my colleague and, the partner, they say, oh, there's a language barrier. And I say, oh, if you say that there's a language barrier, that means that we in Francophone, we must not listen to your music. But even if we don't understand English very well or Pidgin or Chui, we listen your music and we invite you to perform in our country. There's a lot of performance of Nigerian artists in Gabon, in Cameroon, in DRC, or in Cote d'Ivoire. There's a Olamide performance in Cote d'Ivoire, Burna Boy performance in Cote d'Ivoire. In Gabon, we received Shindima, a Bracket, and Chiwa Savage. That means that we listen to your music and we are open to receive to you guys. But how many Francophone artists you receive in your country, in Nigeria, for example, or in South Africa, for example, or in Kenya? There's not a lot of Francophone artists that has been received in this country. And I think it's unfair because they used to say there is the barrier, the language barrier. And I say, no, if we receive you guys, you must receive us also. This is fair to work on this way.
So what do you think is missing really? Do you think, for me, I think it's beyond language barrier. But what do you think is missing in our Francophone music industry that has prevented the songs from going viral or from traveling as far as the English-speaking countries?
I think there's huge song who comes in some Anglophone countries, but according to me, maybe I'm wrong, but according to me, sometimes there's this kind of condescendence of English people to the Francophone, thinking that the music, the entertainment is better than us. Okay? Sometimes, genuinely, they have this idea. Sometimes it's not, volunteer. It's not, we don't make it, you guys, you don't make it like you want to make it. Sometimes it's in consciousness, you make it like, and sometimes when I'm not in a good mood, I say it's colonialism. I say it's colonialist because you English, actor, business guy, you think that you are better than we Francophone guy, and thinking like that, it's colonialism, in a cultural colonialism. And sometimes, when I think very, 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 very strong and real example. When, for example, YouTube or Spotify or Deezer or Universal, they look for someone for Sub-Saharan Africa. That means Sub-Saharan Africa means Nigeria, Ghana, and more than 20 Francophone countries. Okay. But when they look for someone to handle this world from Saharan Africa, they always look for a Nigerian, a South African, or a Kenyan. They don't look for someone coming from the Francophone side. And I don't understand. I say, guys, why? Because the guy or the person won't lead only Nigeria and Ghana. He won't lead. He will lead Cote d'Ivoire. He will lead Mali. He will lead Guinea. He will lead DRC. He will lead Cameroon. He will lead all these francophone countries.
But Wora, I feel that there is something that we can still do. I feel it's deep down here. I feel that there is something we can still do to end this, so that the music can travel around the continent. We don't have to stay. We don't just have to stay glued to just Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, and all that. No, I want to listen to music from Gabon. I want to listen to good music from Senegal. I want to listen to good music from Cote d'Ivoire. I still believe, from your experience, you've mentioned some brands that you've worked with. Can you have a discussion with these brands? Some of them, yes, I know, like the MTV days, that they've closed up right now. But yes, the other ones are still there. Can you have a talk with those people? Can you have a meeting with those people and see how you can promote music from Francophone and promote artists from there?
It's a conversation we still have with them. And to be honest, even in MTV at the beginning, there was some, there's some difficulty, for my colleagues to understand our reality. But thanks to the team, and they were very open-minded. So this is the reason we finally, at the end, we create a Francophone blog, blah 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 blah. But I understood that it was my role to make more effort so they can discover my region,
Okay.
and they were able to discover. And this conversation, they are open to discover, but this conversation continues with Spotify, this conversation continues with Apple. Some are not open, some are open. And that doesn't mean that because we discuss about it, we will have advancement, or we have changed the day we discuss. But it's important to continue to discuss, because in years we will have more exchange, more collaboration we have. So I think for me it's important to believe in this collaboration, not saying, okay, it's only you and me, I'm on my hand. No. But it's important to, if you want that a couple became strong, you need to put the real debate on the table, and to have difficult conversation. And this is the difficult conversation, not avoiding the difficult conversation. The difficult conversation is this. It's not the responsibility of Nigerian people or Ghana. No. But sometimes it's a collective thinking, not a person. It's a collective thinking. And because of this collective thinking, we need to have this difficult conversation to say, guys, it's important that you guys understand us, because we will understand you. We make an effort to understand you. You must make an effort to understand us. And I believe that we must make it. We must continue to make this kind of conversation.
Yes, is there something government or the African leaders can do about this? Because it is very important. It's an interesting conversation. What do you think leaders, whether in the music industry, whether those in policy making, whoever, do you think there's something the government or the leaders of Africa need to do to help bridge this gap?
Yes, because, when they made their meeting, the African Union meeting, it's important that we are there to discuss about it. I give you an example. I wrote it in my notes how, we can make it. There was a summit. I think it's APEC. Maybe I pronounced very badly. But there was a summit in Korea. I think it was APEC CEO Korea Summit, and they invited an artist from BTS, to speak about the entertainment, the arts in the South Asia. And I thought it was interesting, and I said, "What's a good idea when you guys you make your the African Union Summit? Please invite us or provide us a place to speak with you guys and to tell you that if we use the art and the culture as a great level for the economy, for the development, together we can make something huge. Yes, definitely that's something that governments and institutions can make.
Okay, thank you very much, Wora, for coming on today's show. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, but apart from French, what other African language do you speak?
I speak my native language in
Yes.
Gabon.
What is it called? Your native language?
Yene.
Okay. And you speak very well, right?
I think it's my mother. I think it's my mother, yeah.
Okay. So you're going to use the language, the dialect, your native tongue to speak to your people, to greet your Gabon fans, to greet the government of Gabon and everyone watching now. It's just Africa. So you use that African language to say hello to them and tell them to keep watching Souk News TV and they should subscribe to the Just Africa show. Over to you.
Oh. Bolo, Souk News people, Mieno, Magali Wora, Mirero, Souk News TV, and Mebulinya Wene, Yororo, Ponda, Souk News TV, Churuedu, Akewampolo.
Akemampolo. I picked that one. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Magali Palmira Wora. Thank you so much. And we appreciate your time on today's show.
Thank you so much for the invitation. It was a great moment with you guys.
You're welcome.